So you're tired of listening to that dead music at the retail store you work at. Almost to the point where you want to run out of the store screaming because you're tired of hearing the same old song every day. You sneak in your headphones, you go ahead and slip them into your ear, put your hoodie over your head so they won't notice, and either offload the truck or stock the shelves. But then when your manager walk by, they ask you a question and you actually hear them because you only have one earbud in, not two. So you turn your head to the side and they see that one headphone that is in your ear and they tell you very calmly, you can't have that while you working inside the store. We have power equipment, machines. Customers might see you with that on and they might not think you're working. I used to hear that all the time. And I'm like, how in the world do they not think that I'm working if they're going to walk up and ask if do they, they need any help, but I'm stocking the shelves. They can see me working. But you got to take them off. And as soon as the manager walk away, slip them back in. Now, this has happened to me a lot of times. I've worked three different retail stores. Two of them was the same company. And it was essential to have those earbuds in my ear. It not only got me through the day, but it took me somewhere else in my mind while I was at work. I could imagine myself just not at work. You thought I was going to get into some elaborate, daydream. No, it made me forget about work for about 5 minutes. And I never understood the reasoning of why I couldn't have these in my ear. Now, of course, as I gotten older, I understand what they mean. Um, when you work at a store, especially a warehouse store, there's a lot of machines going back and forth. So you want to make sure that you have everything that you can, like both your ears alert and ready to jump out the way, or just know that danger is coming if you don't move out the way. And if you can't hear that, then you know the rest. But if I have one earbud in, how is that like, and I actually have the volume low. I think I got this. I'm a vet at having earbuds in. I've been doing this since a kid. But anyway, it just, it drove me crazy, and others as well. And probably you. You're probably listening to this right now with some earbuds in and probably stocking up the shelves, or probably just on the train or the bus or whatever, walking. But having earbuds in at work is not unprofessional if you do it the right way. Now, when I walked into work and I had my earbuds in and a customer came by, I turned my head where they couldn't see it and I slipped it out. Half of the customer nowadays, in this modern time that we live in, they think that your earbud is just a way to contact management or another associate because you need help. These customers are not worried about your earbuds. They're not worried about your headphones, man. And the music that they play, if you work somewhere, especially retail, warehouse could be different, but in retail, you hear the same music. It's dead music, and they say it's boomer music, but I'm gonna give you a little insight. There was a guy that I worked with. Actually, he was my manager. He was my manager at the time when he told me this. We asked him about some of these songs, and he was like, This is not anything that I really grew up listening to." He said, "I've heard some of these songs, but they were one hit wonders. They were songs that never made it." And I was like, wow, they got their second win 30 years later when nobody still wants to hear it. And I'm like, why are we forced to hear? Like, give us something. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Hardee's. I think they're Carly C's is what Carly C's. Ah, man, Carl's Jr. Carly C's is a grocery store. My bad. Carl's Jr. and I think Hardee's is the same company, depending on where you live at, if they're still a thing. But I would go into Hardee's and they would be jamming. I go in there, they're listening to like old school Michael Jackson, old school Temptations, um, James Brown, Marvin Gaye. They just like everything was like upbeat. I didn't understand while I'm having lunch, I'm jamming. But then when I go walk back to the store I worked at, eh, I couldn't have my headphones in. It was disturbing hearing that music. And I know some of y'all probably thought of this and it just came to my head, but holiday music, hearing Mariah Carey for a month and a half, 2 months straight is diabolical. It's it hurts. And I didn't realize that a lot of people, well, I guess if you shop, you realize that. But I didn't think a lot of people outside of retail understood that. And I guess because they get on the radio, which like I don't listen to the radio. But I guess on the radio they're playing it all the time as well. But I thought in retail we were the only ones suffering. But I just need something to get me through the day. It's like people need their coffee, their energy drinks. You know, they need all of this type of stuff to keep them going. Well, I need my music. And you just was not able or allowed to have your headphones in unless you were like outside. And you still had to be secretive about it. I just it bothered me, but the thing about it is I remember plenty of times. I don't go to the mall now, but the mall might be the only place that I went to the mall and they were playing more like it depending on what, you know, I'll just say modern music. And even if I didn't listen to the music they were playing, they were like upbeat. You know, they were like they kind of got you going. When you know when you go to the sneaker store, you know what you're gonna hear when you go into the sneaker store. You know, that's gonna help you like buy the product that you want. You might go in there and want the you know the shoes that you're gonna buy, right? But you might see that jersey that's hanging up on the wall and be like, you hear that song going, and they might mention the player, and you like, you know what? That's a throwback, man. I'm gonna pick that up. I'm gonna grab that. I don't know if they still do that. I don't know if they still even got jerseys hanging up in the mall like that. They probably do, but it's been a while. But I think that these corporations should understand that that can help out with sales because not only your customers are like loving the music, right? But the employees are upbeat and they kind of want to move a little bit, so they helping customers out and they doing all, you know, they doing a little extra. But since y'all don't want to do it, we're gonna bring in our own product. We're gonna bring in our own music. I just always thought that that was crazy to at least let us have one earbud in. And especially if you offloading trucks, you don't want to be disrespectful and have the radio playing. And let's say you listening to something that got profanity, not me, but you might want to just put them headphones in, right? You want to cover up both ears so you can be fast at offloading that truck. I don't understand. I just feel like sometimes they just do it just to make you miserable. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It's a part of policy. I get it. But you can bend the rules a little bit, bend the rules a little. No, I'm just look, to each his own. I understand why they do it. But for me, I always had that hoodie on, that toboggan, scully cap, whatever you call it. And I put them right on top of my ears, and you couldn't see a thing. Look, I support headphones at work because sometimes listening to a good podcast, listening to some good music, it'll get you through. It'll motivate you. It'll motivate you to leave that job too. Nah, but for real, it'll motivate you and keep you going and keep you moving and keep you alert because that dead music that they play at work is I don't understand. And it wasn't even popular music like that. Not saying all, because they had some pop. There's some of them I recognize, but the ones I recognized, they were still music that drained the soul. We need some music that's gonna like uplift and let me know that I'm still breathing while I'm at work. Hey man, that's all I got for y'all. Peace.